This video will just give some basics on how to find different types of probabilities. So using this two-way table that has to do with your gender and what type of car you drive, you're asked to find a bunch of probabilities. So the first one wants to know the probability of owning a sports car. So to do our notation, you could just say something like SC for sports car. That would work. And you're going to go to the total for sports car and put it out of the grand total. So 84 out of 240. Okay, being a male owning an SUV. So that's really an and, because that means you're both things. So you would say the probability of male and SUV. And in this case, since it's an and, we're going and looking for just the overlap of these two categories. So that's here. Since this is all the people that own sports utility vehicles and this is all the males. That 21 is the number that we want, and that is still out of the grand total. So 21 out of 240. Number 3 is an or. They want to know the probability of being female or owning a sports car. So this is when we do use one of our probability rules or formulas. So to write this, we would say female or, that's the upside down, looks more like a U, sports car. So here we have to first find the probability of being female. So if I go all the way over, there's 180 females out of 240 people. Now I have to add to that the probability of just owning a sports car. We already actually found that number. That's 84 out of 240. And from that, we need to subtract the overlap. So now I'm looking at where do being female and owning a sports car overlap. That's right there, those 45 women. So 45 over 240. And that gives us 219 out of 240. I'm running out of space here. That's our final answer for that question. Okay, and then finally we have a given probability. So it wants to know the probability of owning an SUV given that you're a female. I just transferred over here so I have a little bit more space. So this also is sort of like a formula. When you do a given probability, you always are going to say the given thing always comes second. So we use this bar to denote given, and this is given that you're female, so then the SUV goes first. So now whatever this given quality is, that's always going to be the denominator in our probability. So that means now we're looking at how many total females there are, and we are automatically out of 180 rather than 240, because we're saying you definitely are picking someone who's a female. Now we look at, in that row, how many of those women own SUVs, and there are 135 of them. So that would be the probability of owning an SUV given that you're female. So those are all the different types of probabilities you can be asked from a table. So what I'll do next is just a couple examples of if you're not given a table and you're just given like a scenario that you can do these same types of probabilities. So a common situation that you'll run into is rolling a die. We can ask all kinds of questions. So the first one says find the probability that you roll an odd number. So I could just do something like probability of odd, and here I have to actually think about a die. There are 6 different chances and 3 of them are odd, 1, 3, and 5. So this is 3 out of 6. Okay, so then it gives us an and. So remember our notation, we're saying the probability of an even, and you could actually say greater in words, or you could use the symbol greater than 3. So now I'm thinking, how many different ways can I see both of those on a die? Well, there are 4, 5, and 6 are the only things greater than 3, and 2 of those, 4 and 6, are even. So this is 2 out of 6. So that's all the different ways that both of those things can happen at the same time. Then it says you roll an even number or a number greater than 3. So this is a little bit different. So same setup, but we're using the reverse symbol. So now I have to go through using that same rule I did with the table. I have to first find the probability of rolling an even. There are 3 evens on a die. Then a number greater than 3, 4, 5, and 6. There are 3 of those. And now I need to subtract the overlap. Well, we happen to know the overlap because we found it in number 2. This is all the ways you can do both at the same time. So since 4 and 6 fit both criteria, our overlap is 2 out of 6. So if I add 3 and 3 and then take away 2, I end up with 4 out of 6 ways that could happen. So that's my final answer. Finally, you roll an even number given that you roll a number greater than 3. So different variation, that word given makes it a little bit different. So here, again, the given quality always goes second, so I would say even, use that bar, given greater than 3. Okay, so again, remember that whatever your given quality is, that's always going to go on the bottom automatically. So there are 3 different ways to roll a number greater than 3. So I'm automatically out of just 3 options. And then of those 3, 2 of them, 4 and 6, are even. So looks a lot like what we got in number 2, except our denominator is smaller because there are less choices.